The spirit form. What is it? What is its purpose? Here is an overview. In order to evolve, the creation creates the human spirit form, and this spirit form, in turn, evolves independently through the human being's material consciousness. Prior to entering the human being for the first time, the spirit form is an absolutely neutral energy agglomeration in timeless existence and is totally unknowing. Once it enters into the human being, its goal is to collect wisdom, knowledge, love, etc. through countless reincarnations to eventually merge with the creation, whereby the creation has the possibility to further evolve. Just for clarity of terminology, here's a brief explanation of what the creation is, taken from the Decalogue by Billy Meier. The creation is the being and the non-being of the life. It is the most immense mass of spiritual energy in the universe. It is spirit in purest form and unmeasurable in its wisdom, in its knowledge, in its love, and in its harmony and truth. The creation is something spiritually dynamic, a pure spirit intelligence energy, ungraspable for human beings, prevailing over all, and at all times active, creative, standing in unstoppable evolution, all gathered into itself, wisdom and love. In order to evolve, the spirit form creates the overall consciousness block, which in turn creates the consciousness block, which harbors the consciousness, personality, and the ego to gather values in the material life. On day 21, after conception, both the spirit form and the consciousness block enter the body. That is when the heart begins to beat. From the superior colliculus, the spirit form spreads its spiritual energy throughout every fiber of the body of the human being in a fine filigree. When the spirit form enters within the human being, it remains within its own realm. It is of a pure creational nature and is not able to be humanly or materially influenced, for example, through sickness and disease. The ego, the I, represents the personality, respectively, the material consciousness. It independently makes perceptions, researches, and explores things and facts, consciously learns and processes results. Evolutive values, that which correspond to truth and reality, are transferred over in an impulse-based form from the thoughts and feelings to the spiritual consciousness. The spirit form then further processes and stores these within itself for all time. In this manner, the spirit form grows in its power and energy as it becomes wiser and more knowing. Neutral positive impulses are also transmitted to the material consciousness from the spiritual realm. The moment that the brain's activity ceases is the moment when the spirit form and the consciousness block both go to their own unworldly spheres. The consciousness block goes to the realm of the overall consciousness block. The overall consciousness block dissolves the I or ego and then processes all that which the consciousness and its personality could not overcome or work out in a previous material life. This is processed into knowledge, love, and wisdom, and evolutive values are then released to the spirit form, whereby it can further improve itself. The consciousness and its personality are then dissolved, stored, and as well, their power and energy are changed into a completely neutral form by the overall consciousness block. Once this neutrality is achieved, the overall consciousness block creates and programs a new consciousness, harboring a new personality and a new I or ego, and then the consciousness block is ready to incarnate into a new material body of a human being. Having a completely new personality guarantees love, freedom, knowledge, wisdom-based progress, because through the new personality, there are new ideas, views, opinions, perceptions, cognitions, etc. For this reason, a personality is never repeated and therefore can only incarnate, whereas the spirit form reincarnates because it remains the same throughout the life and death process, albeit its power and energy increases as it becomes wiser. Again, on day 21, the consciousness block and the spirit form enter the fetus, but the consciousness level of the human being is starting from where it left off in the previous material life. The overall consciousness block programs or inputs into the memory of the subconsciousness, which is a factor of the consciousness block, the essence of all evolutive values that were gathered throughout all previous incarnations. These evolutive values are comprised of consciousness forms, which are all at various levels of development. Examples of consciousness forms can be love, respect, patience, honesty, etc. The highest level of each of these consciousness forms is considered to be its essence. These essences, which are all inputted into the subconsciousness, are then representative of the overall level of consciousness evolution. In addition to the inspirations coming from the program memory in the subconsciousness, the material consciousness is influenced by the planetary storage banks. As already stated, the overall consciousness block stores the consciousness block once it has been processed. The storage banks of the overall consciousness block is where all of the essences are stored. However, there are also the planetary storage banks. These too are made up of fine energy. Thoughts, emotions, feelings, each word that was ever thought or spoken, habits, ideas, interests, abilities, everything that a person is. These are all deposited in the storage banks as impulses. There is a unique frequency of stored impulses generated by the thoughts and feelings. All that which is in the storage banks can be made one's own if the corresponding frequencies are produced. Therefore, other egos and consciousness forms can be brought to use if one is able to create the same frequencies. This means that abilities of former personalities can be brought to use in a conscious or unconscious form. This connection is also possible with other egos not connected to the same line of previous egos. The spirit form is of a pure, fine material, spiritual creational form. It is absolutely neutral in power and energy. The spirit form exists from a creation-based learning consciousness or evolution consciousness and perceives only neutral positive impulses from which it builds knowledge, love, and wisdom and stores it until the highest relative perfection is reached. The spirit form is not able to think creatively or to create its own ideas. It plays a passive role. The spirit form consciousness in itself is not conscious and has no ego in the form of self-conscious being. It is only active in the form that it is the neutral recipient and processor of evolutive impulses, whereby it creates wisdom, love, knowledge, and stores it in itself. The spirit form has to evolve through the consciousness of the human being. The human consciousness is of a material and transitory nature. It is active in a conscious, creative, and evolutive manner, and therefore has a conscious consciousness evolution, unlike animals which have instinct evolution or plants that have an impulse-based evolution, etc. The process of the reincarnation of the spirit form and the incarnation of consciousness blocks continues for 40 to 60 million years, 18 million years of which are spent in the physical realm. This is then followed by 56 million years in the half-physical and half-spiritual realm, followed by nearly 3 billion years in the pure spirit levels, before entering and becoming one with the creation itself, whereby the creation further evolves. The spirit form is not the soul. The soul is an incorrect term for the psyche. A human being cannot take their personality with them into subsequent incarnations, as has been falsely taught by the Buddhist or Hindu religions. A human being's spirit form cannot enter into an animal or into a plant in another reincarnation, nor is the reverse possible. Upon the deceasing of the human body, life does not continue in nirvana, paradise, or heaven, nor in a hell or Hades. There is no possibility of a resurrection or sentencing on Judgment Day, nor any karma-burdened future life.